won. So I've been stuck at the rating of 18 to 1900 for over 5 or 6 months, and it was really annoying. But I finally managed to break through 2000 ELO, and after I stopped making this daily rating climb videos, I stopped showing my thought process in the games, and I only focused on the games without any kind of distractions, and I managed to pull it off. And I reached 2012. Now, I was playing this game and I was rated 2004, but after I beat this guy, FIDE Master, I'm right now at 2012. And I'm going to show you this game. Now, this game was really crazy, and I'm going to walk you through the entire game. And believe me when I tell you this, you're going to learn a lot of stuff from this game, especially if you're at 1900 ELO range. I started the game with d4 because I like to play d4, c4, the queen's gambit if they play d5. Now, he went for modern defense. I went for my setup, knight c3, and now he played knight d6. And it's close to like the King's Indian defense when they play knight here. Then it's the King's Indian defense, but in a different move order. I played e4, taking control of the center, because openings like the King's Indian, they give you the center so that they will attack it, e5, f5, or c5. They will attack it soon. And now he played the move knight to c6, and here I decided to play bishop to e3, because he's attacking my pawn twice, and I have to defend it. And now he played e5. Of course, you should not be taking, because you don't want him to have a very strong piece here, especially a knight. So I decided to push, and now he went back with the knight here, knight to e7. Now, every single time you play the move d4, expect your opponent to play something like the King's Indian or some kind of variation of the King's Indian, where they go for the move f5. They love f5 against the move d4, against an opening like d4, because this f5 push gives them a lot of power and gives them a lot of control, especially after they castle and they have a lot of activity. All you have to do is stop them from having the move f5, and you will 100% have an advantage over them psychologically and over the board. So I played the move g4. I was like, I wanted to develop the knight, I wanted to develop the bishop, but I was like, he's going to play f5 anyway, and I should not be taken, because after maybe he takes with the knight, he takes with the bishop, he's opening up lines for his rook to become active on my king. So I played g4, and he will not have this push. Why? Because if he played the move f5, which he actually did, and I was so confused by this, I was like, I'm going to take. And you cannot take with the pawn, because I'm going to give you a check. And you have to move the king now, unless you want to take with the knight, and that's going to be a lot of crazy stuff. He took. I played a check, and I thought he's going to move his king to f8. And so I thought there's going to be like a very crazy kind of variation where they just go here with the king, they attack your queen, and they gain a lot of control. I was very confused by this. But he played knight to g6. And all of this is theory. I never played this line before, but I was actually playing it perfectly, because I was, wasting a lot of time thinking about this. And here I decided to take, with the pawn. The knight is pinned, so the only move in this position is to play queen to h4, unless he wants to lose the knight. So queen to h4, I cannot take the knight because I will lose my queen, and if I take his queen, he will take with the knight, and he will have two pieces attacking this pawn, and he will have the bishop very active, and I gave him exactly what he wants. He wants activity. So I decided to go back, keep defending the pawn, and not trade and not go for what he wants, what he studied. And I'm still up the pawn for now, but this is a very weak pawn. Double pawns are not good, especially if the pawn cannot be defended by another pawn. It has to be defended by pieces. It will fall. Many people, when they have a pawn, when they have an advantage, they put all their pieces, everything. They shift their entire plan from winning the game, from developing their pieces, to only defending the pawn. And that's why most people lose. And I was like, no, I'm just going to go back. I'm not going to trade. And I'm just going to, I anticipated he's going to play knight to e7, moving away from the attack and also attacking the pawn on f5. I played bishop to d3. Yes, I'm technically defending the pawn, but I'm defending while developing. Huge difference. When you defend it only in a passive way, like maybe like bishop to h3, this is passive way, because whenever you push the pawn, you lose your bishop as well. So this is passive, and this is active. I mean, my bishop is safe, still defends the pawn, adds another defender, and I'm developing a piece. So this is nice. Now he played knight to h6, adding more attackers on this. 3 attackers. The queen might go back. The rook might go here. And I was like, there's no way that I can keep this pawn alive. No way. But here I was thinking, maybe I can trap his queen, because I knew exactly what he wants. He wants this pawn. And I was like, let me try to give it to him by playing knight to h3. Now my idea was, after he takes this pawn with the knight, which he did, I was thinking about bishop to g5. Bishop to g5. This move, you can see that his queen cannot really move anywhere, cannot take anything. And I was thinking that the only move for the queen is to go queen to d4. And I was like, after queen to d4, I just castle my king. I'm completely safe. I'm going to take this knight, and he cannot take back because his queen will be hanging, and he cannot give me any checks because my bishop is holding that square, and also the knight. So there's no way for him to get away from this, right? Until I checked the game review. Now here, it's completely winning for white after black castles, and now the rook will be attacking my queen indirectly. So I just move my queen here, and now, if he doesn't want to lose a knight because he needs to move the queen, and if he moves this queen right away, I'm winning the game after bishop takes knight. 100% winning. He cannot take back because after this check, of course, he cannot go here. It's blocked. He goes there, check, here, checkmate. This is what I thought about when I anticipated this plan, when I thought about this plan, knight to h3. But do you know what is the best move for black after bishop to g5? Knight to d4. Now, my opponent did not play this move, but the engine recommended that it is the best way, and black is completely winning. I can't take his queen, because after he takes my queen, it's a check. It's a fork, and I lose the bishop, and I'm down a piece right now. When I was like reviewing the game, I was like, wow. What? How could this be a blunder? This is crazy. But I mean, you have to see this much deep, like the engine, which is, I mean, it's impossible to see as deep as the engine. So he did not even see that. He played bishop to f6. He played bishop to f6. I don't really understand why. I mean, he didn't want to make me allow me to push the pawn. And so this pawn is just fixed there. A lot of attackers on the pawn. He may be, putting his rook on f8, trying to add a lot of attackers onto the pawn and my queen. So I decided to play knight to b5. Now, knight to b5, it's a simple one mover. I don't like making these moves, but sometimes I think of them as a way to confuse my opponents. So knight to b5, I wanted to confuse my opponent by forcing him to deal with this fork. There's no way to deal with it through a piece. He needs to move the king or move the rook, one of them. And I'm adding a little bit of a pressure here on this pawn, but I will never take it because I will tell you why then. So now he played the move king to d8, trying to defend this. And I knew he was going to play this, but I don't know. I thought I'm weakening his structure even more. And I was thinking about maybe I can have some kind of sacrifices, something like that, or maybe sacrificing the knight like this if he attacked me. So my plan was to induce a6. After he attacks my knight, then I sacrifice, and after he takes, then I'll play this check, and now the king needs to move to a light square, which is only 2 squares. And maybe I was thinking about something, but it was not a good plan because, no, I mean, there's no sufficient material and everything is blocked. Like, if there were no pawns and only have the rook, then yeah, it could be a good plan to attack the king, to sacrifice there. But then I played knight to g1 after he moved the king. And this move is a blunder, again, not because it's a simple blunder. I mean, you can literally pause the video right now and try to see how this could be a blunder. And you will never find it. The engine is so freaking going deeper into the position that you will say, what? This is crazy. Only because if he takes with the knight, it is not winning. The only way so black can have an advantage here is by taking with the bishop. which is extremely weird. I mean, how, like, taken with knight is not good, it's actually completely equal, but taken with the bishop gives him the advantage. But here I thought it's completely fine. I mean, I'm just going to trade a bishop for a bishop. He takes with the knight. Who really cares? But what I missed, that at the end, there will be a pawn hanging on c4. And you cannot easily defend with the move b3 because there's the move e4, attacking my queen and attacking the rook. Simply because I played b3 and now I'm, weakening my pieces. I'll lose a piece if I played the move b3. And if I played knight to c3, well, of course, he can just pick up the pawn and he will be up a pawn. That's what I missed. I kept thinking, like, if he takes with the knight, what am I going to do? But I completely missed that there's a pawn on c4 that's going to be hanging at the end. And I did not even think it's going to be relevant. I'm just going to play, like, b3 and defend. But I did not see at the end there is e4 to attack my queen and attack the rook at the same time. You might see it as very obvious, but to me, when you have 3 variations to calculate, it's going to be a little bit messy, especially when you're down more material than your opponent. I have 7 minutes and 38 seconds. He has 12 minutes and 11 seconds. So I'm trying to play as fast as possible. So I did not see, I'm like, come on, too many variations to calculate. I don't know what to do. Let me move my knight to g1. And the only way to punish this is bishop takes f5. And it's not like 100% winning. It's like minus 1.5, minus 2 for black, which is, at this level, it's not that big of a deal. He took with the knight, attacking my bishop, and I didn't like it. I wanted the bishop there. So I went back, bishop to d2, and now he played a6. He played a6 because he wanted to put a knight on d4 to attack my queen, but he cannot do it right now because of my knight. So he attacked it, I went back, he attacked my queen, and here, I played queen to g3. Now, actually, I did not look at what is the best move, but I was like, you know what? Let's just trade queens. I will have a very active rook with the bishop, and this pawn will be a weakness because it's an isolated pawn. It will always be a weakness. And I thought that the position will be equal after this trade. But he didn't trade. And actually, the best move is not to trade. And he's doing something that's very annoying, stopping me from castling, which is extremely annoying. You have to castle your king. You have to get to safety. Now, he's not, castling his king or he cannot castle his king, or he's not trying to activate the other rook because there is no attack on him. There's an attack on me. His pieces are looking at my king, but my pieces are not looking at his king. He moved there, and I played bishop to e4. Now, the reason I played bishop to e4, because if I played something else, I'm losing the game. For example, knight to e2, there is rook to g8, and defended by the knight. I cannot go here, I cannot go here, I can go here, but there's going to be bishop to g5 after I move. There's going to be a lot of stuff. So I played bishop to e4, and I thought that after rook to g8, I can just go queen to d3, and I'm completely safe. So I just moved the bishop so that I can replace it with the queen, and then everything will be fine. He played exactly that, and I went queen to d3, and now I thought that I'm really safe. But there's this weakness here. Like, if I wanted to cancel in some way, there might be some kind of check here, which I really hated the move bishop to g4. I didn't know what I'm going to do against it, but he didn't play it. He played knight to f5. Knight to f5, he thought that maybe I'm going to try to play knight to e2, try to take this knight, and then he wants to take with the other knight, so he wants a knight on d4, a very strong knight, an outpost on an outpost. But here I played knight to e2, not to trade knights. I played knight to e2 to try to castle queenside, and without him, stopping me. And now he played bishop to h4. He's like telling me, like, okay, go castle, but I will win this pawn. And at this level, I really hate to lose pawns, because if you lose a pawn, your opponent is just going to trade everything, and he's going to use that pawn that he took in a way to create a passed pawn and win the game. It's very brutal at this level when you lose a pawn. But here I was thinking that if I castled, he will take the pawn, yes, but I will have very active rooks active pieces, everything's active. So I was like, maybe it's, there's no point of defending the pawn. Also, if the rooks and the queen somehow try to add some pressure here, it's very not good to try to defend. I cannot even defend. I cannot push because it's pinned. And whenever I move my rook, this pawn will become very weak. So I decided to castle. And it is the best move. Him taking this pawn was, even though he's up a pawn, but it's not really the best move. The best move maybe was trying to move the bishop, trying to make use of the other rook. Make use of the other rook, add more attackers. So I played rook to f1 because I was like, okay, I'm attacking the bishop. When the bishop moves, there will be one attacker, two attackers, three attackers, and also knight to g3, four attackers, and also on the queen. So I thought that this move will give me a lot of control over the board. And here I was completely expecting bishop to h4. After bishop to h4, my plan, simple plan, was to go knight to g3. If he takes with the knight, he's losing the game because I can just take with the pawn and he cannot move the bishop because he will lose his queen. And he cannot take with the rook because I can just take the rook. And when he takes back, I win his queen and I'm up 3 points of material. But after knight to g3, he's not forced to take with the knight, he can take with the bishop. And after pawn takes, he just moves the queen. But I thought that after he moves the queen, even though I'm down one pawn, but my rook is super active, my bishop is looking at the pawn as well, my rook is active, my bishop is active. I was like, I don't care about the pawn. I have active pieces. It's really nice. And somewhat safe king, But here, after bishop takes, rook to f1, I was shocked by my opponent. Queen to h4. I was like, what? Queen h4? I was like, I cannot go queen here to attack. I cannot go here or here in any way. How can I attack this bishop? And excuse me for this stupidness, I did not find knight to d1, even though it's completely simple and easy to find. Right? It's just one move. And actually, after knight to d1, the bishop cannot go here because you can simply take it. The bishop cannot go here because you can simply take it, and it's just a free piece. And even if he takes here, and after queen takes, he saves the bishop. But then I can take this knight. And after he takes, I take back with the rook, and I'm still up a piece. But I did not see it. I did not see knight to d1 because, as you can see, 3 minutes and 26 seconds, I was like, I need to play faster. I need to play faster. I did not see knight to d1. I only saw knight to g3. Knight to g3, I was like, okay, I'm attacking the bishop, so I'm disconnecting the defense of the queen of the bishop, and I'm attacking this knight 3 times. It's only defended once, twice. So I'm attacking 2 pieces at the same time. I thought, how this could be a bad move? I took with the bishop, I take with the pawn, I'm attacking his queen now. He moved here, queen to g4, and here I took the pawn. Now, it is equal, completely equal, but it's becoming really, really tense because he has 1 minute and 52 seconds and I have 1 minute and 41 seconds. So it's crazy. Now my opponent played bishop to d7. He was like, let me figure out something. Let me get the king out. He needs to use his rooks, right? And here I was thinking about something. I was thinking about rook takes bishop. Now you might say, what the hell? Rook takes bishop? Why are you sacrificing the rook for the bishop? Well, after king takes, I was thinking about bishop takes here. Knight takes, queen takes, check, he takes, and rook takes. And what I saw, that after rook takes, it's going to be equal. I thought about this, but I was like, I don't want it to be equal. I want to win this game. And it's actually good for white. It's super good for white here. And the only move that I did not see here, because under 2 minutes, I didn't see, deep enough into the position. I just had to see check. Of course, he cannot go there because after a check, he loses his rook. He cannot do that. All I had to see after that sequence of moves is after he takes here, I have a check. He's forced to go to e8. Then I win a pawn. Now it's no longer equal. I am up a pawn. And my knight is going to be super active on e4, attacking the rook, attacking a pawn. The bishop will be very active. My king is safe. And I'm going to try to target these two weaknesses. That's my problem. I did not see deep enough just because of the time. So let me go back all the way back here. That was an interesting idea. The game review proved to me that my idea was correct, but I did not play it because I wanted everything to be equal. I was like, no way, I'm not gonna do this. I'm playing a FIDE master. Even though I'm gonna get 8 points, I'm gonna lose 8 points. So it's completely equal. He's not higher rated than me, super high rated, so that I will win more points, and he's not lower rated than me, so that I will lose points. So I was like, I wanted to keep it equal, and I was like rated 2004. So if I lost this game, I'll be back to 1900s. And I was like, no way, no way. I'm not gonna go back to 1900s. I'm gonna keep on climbing. I'm gonna reach over 2000 ELO or 2100. I did not take the bishop. I went rook to f7. That's the miss because the engine is telling me you had rook takes bishop. That was the best move. I didn't play it. I was scared. And I was like, I mean, come on, surely there has to be something here. This knight is hated by everyone, like Israel. Now, knight takes pawn here. After this, I was like, let's go rook to g1. Rook to g1, pin the knight. Maybe I'm gonna try to win it somehow. But this is bad because knight check, knight takes, knight check. And actually, here, there's a tricky move. Queen takes knight. If he takes, he's completely losing. Checkmate. It's not checkmate. Like after this, there will be a lot of trouble, and it's actually might be equal in some way. But after queen takes, he can just take this rook, and he's completely winning this game. So that's why I did not play rook to g1, even though I didn't have much time to think about it. So I panicked. Everyone panics under time pressure, and I went, let's go. Check. If he wanted to take me, which he did, I will take back with the check. If he moved, he will lose the rook, and I'm completely winning this. Yes, my king is not safe, but then I can always go back, and I'll be safe then. Even though I might lose a piece, but I was like, rook for a rook, really nice. Then he went back with the bishop, and I was thinking about bishop to g6, adding more pressure here, but after king to e7, I didn't know what to do after that. My bishop now is being attacked, the rook is being attacked, and I cannot even go here because there will be like bishop there is attacking my, sorry. No, this move, we can just take it. It's just a trade. It is just a trade. But I didn't like this. So I decided to play bishop to e1. Let me attack the knight. So now it's attacked twice, right? He took my bishop, and of course I'm not going to take with the queen. I'm not an idiot. He's up a pawn. He's still up a pawn. So I took with the knight, and now he went here. King to e7 attacking my rook, which is the best move. And he has an advantage, but I have 36 seconds. He has 19 seconds. So we're all just blitzing out moves. We're not really thinking that deep. And I went rook to h8. I was like, move the bishop. I'll take your rook. And, luckily my king is on a dark square, so there's not going to be any check that he can pick up my rook. So I was completely safe with this. And I went rook to h8 just to support bishop to h4 check. Because if I manage to stop him from going there, running back, I might be winning this game. He gave me this check, queen to f4 check. I blocked with the bishop. I was like, you cannot give me check here because my queen, and you have to move your queen now. He moves his queen, and in this position, I played bishop to g5 check, defended by the knight. The best move here is to actually take the bishop. After knight takes, this is completely winning for white, but at least it's, not checkmate. But after this move, bishop to g5 check, it's winning for white. He needs to sack the queen for the bishop. And if he went here, I would have this check. Of course, he has a lot of options, and every single one of them is mate. Like if he went here, this is mate. If he went also to the corner, it's also mate. If he went here, there's going to be some stuff which like checks, stuff like that. But I was like, I did not even think about the checks. I did not see the mates. I only saw that, okay, if he went there, so it's going to be a fork, and I can pick up the queen, and then I will deal with it. Maybe then he's going to resign. But after this check, he did not go there. He went king to f7. And here, Even though I didn't have to have, I have like 50-second stuff like that. But I was thinking, how can I checkmate? I cannot play this check. If I play this check, I don't know what to do then. Like he's gonna go here, and even though this is completely winning, but maybe he can block with the queen. Like if I played this and he moved, then he's losing. But after this check, he can block with the knight or block with the queen, trade, and he's going to be up a pawn. I didn't like it. So luckily, I found this tactic in the final moment. Knight takes pawn. This move wins the game. This is a forced win, forced checkmate. The king needs to move, or he needs to take the knight. If he takes the knight, queen to h7 is checkmate, which is exactly what happened. He cannot move anywhere, and this magical, beautiful pawn here on d5. I have no idea how this pawn ended up here, but I love it. Actually, from the opening phase, the pawn was pushed. When I played d4, then he attacked me with e5, and then I played d5. From the opening phase until now, this pawn saved the game and stopped him from going here. Even though it's going to be maybe some kind of a win or a win apiece, but you know, it's tricky when there's going to be a lot of perpetual checks. And here, if he just, if here he can, if he moved there, it's also checkmate. He can do anything. He can't do nothing. And this is how I have beaten a FIDE master. And to my surprise, after I looked at this guy's account, I actually played this guy. I played this guy when I was 1800. Crazy. Look, I played against him when I was 1800 and he was 1815, and I won the game. And after each one of us gained over 200 ELO points, we got matched together as well, and I beat him again, which is crazy. 2012. I did it. Thank you so much for watching. See you in that video.